This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everyone. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Afifa, extend a warm welcome to all the esteemed participants joining us today. We are delighted to have you all here for this webinar on microbiology as a career organized by Biosetup Lifesciences. Let me enlighten you about Biosetup Lifesciences. Biosetup Lifesciences, founded by Argadeep Das Sir, is a hub for scientific research and learning approved by ISO 9001 2015 certified organization, having a multidisciplinary team of faculty and research associates that provide support to aspiring students in life sciences. We have successfully organized many workshops, courses, career counseling, and competitive exam preparation like CSIR, IIT JAM, CUET PG, GET-B, IISc, and DBT. We are continuously working for the career upgradation of the students. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. Arindam Mitra, to today's webinar. Dr. Arindam Mitra is professor and head of biological sciences in School of Life Sciences and Biotechnology at Adamas University. Dr. Mitra is currently the editor of PLOS1, PeerJ Life and Environment, Canadian Journal of Infectious Diseases and Medical Microbiology, Microbiology Today, and Frontiers in Microbiology. A little housekeeping before we start the meeting. Please don't share your audio and video during the session. If you have any question, please write down in the chat box and we will take it in the last of the session. Without taking much time, I would like to invite Dr. Arindam Mitra. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Is my slide visible and my audio audible?
Yes, sir. Both is okay.
Okay, great. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about microbiology as a career. Um, Many of you are here to learn about microbiology as a subject. So that will be covered uh, partly in my talk, and also I will also guide you through some of the process for getting there if you want to build up a career in microbiology. Now, before I begin, I want to give you some images to make you think about microbes. So on the left of this slide, you see something. On the right, you see something, right? So I want you to make a guess of what these things are. Uh, just you can just type in the chat box, maybe 30 seconds or so, the left one and the right one. Do you have some answers? Do you have some answers regarding this? Okay, let me see the chat. Okay, so I see a lot of answers Very good. Okay. Okay. Madhurima is saying it's bacteria and viruses, maybe. Uh, Also, Navamita is saying biofilm on the left side. Okay. Uh, Shomer Ranjan is saying virus. Left is an object with microbes in it. Right is detailed object. Okay. Excellent. Very good. Detailed image of microbes, bacterial microbes. Okay. Vedanta is saying some bacillus bacteria along with maybe viruses. Right image. Okay. Rod-shaped bacilli, right side. That's correct. You got it right. And many others are also saying rod-shaped bacillus, bacteria. That's all of them are very good answers, and most of them are correct actually. So let me go back to that slide which I was mentioning. So on the left-hand side of this image is a pin. At the top of a pin, there are microbes that are attached to the surface, and as you rightly pointed out, that sometimes they are uh, associated in a group, as you can see in biofilms, but you can also see them as isolated cells as well. Um, and in the right, it's basically a kitchen sponge, the microbes that are present in a kitchen sponge, and you can see the diversity and probably uh, the diversity of the microbes that are present and how they are connected. That's cleanly visible because with kitchen sponge you are cleaning utensils, right? So microbes should be there. So this is just to give an insight of the microbes that are present everywhere, not only just all around us, but on our skin, within our body systems, and even in extreme conditions, extreme environment, like in extreme cold or extreme hot conditions in the planet where no other organisms would be able to thrive or survive. So with that, I like to move on to the next slide, which is the topic of today's discussion, that is microbiology as a career. Again, you see some of the images. You see the image of a microscope. You see some microbes associated with each other. Uh, you see some protozoa. You see another microbe which can be present in a fish. It's one of the longest microbe. So these are some microscopic images of uh, various type of microbes, showing that they are extremely diverse in nature. And also it's very pertinent to remember at this point of time that the microbes are the first organisms that evolved in this planet. They are basically anoxygenic phototropes, and over a period of time, over billion years of evolution, cyanobacteria emerged in this planet, and which supported various type of other forms of life by pumping out or evolving or generating oxygen in the atmosphere. So as the oxygen is filled up in the atmosphere, it supports other kind of life, including plants, animals, and finally us. So we owe our existence mainly to these tiny organisms that existed much before than we did in this planet. So naturally, it is as a career we are studying them, but they are here for longer than we have been here. So studying them is a fascinating way to study life in general. Um, so what? So it's a very exciting career if you pursue a career as a microbiologist. Well, I can start a little bit intro about myself, some about uh, something about myself have been told in the introduction. So thank you very much for that. I would also like to start that uh, I started my journey as a uh, pharmacist. As a my undergraduate is in pharmacy. Then I moved to biotechnology in my master's, and in my PhD I did basic microbiology work, and eventually I shift into applied microbiology during my postdoc. So you can see you can, and this is more relevant nowadays because uh, science is more interdisciplinary now with new education policy where you can take uh, courses of other stream which may be relevant to you as well. So microbiology is indeed an exciting career path. Is my slide moving? Uh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Just checking. Sometimes when uh, sometimes it doesn't move, and I want everybody to be in the same page. So it is indeed an exciting career path. So you can pursue a career in basic microbiology, applied microbiology, in environmental microbiology, medical microbiology. There are multiple career paths that you can
Sir,
choose.
hello, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, is microbiology is better than B pharma?
let's save the questions at the end. So
Okay, thank you.
we'll otherwise there will be a lot of discussions about this. So we'll answer these questions a little bit later, okay, at the end of the talk. So hold
Okay,
your
sir.
questions and then we'll discuss. Okay. Uh, so uh, so microbiology is a very exciting uh, career, and you can also pursue a career in pharmaceutical microbiology. So there is a if you have a background in pharmacy, how you make medicines, and then you want to test the medicine to see their antibacterial efficacy, this combination is a great choice. You there are a lot of areas of intersection between this fields, and I often hear, is this career better than the others, or that career better than this? uh, to answer this question, I often say that uh, when you choose, uh, when you have to make a decision, about your parents, who is better parent, your father or mother, I think the question is, you just cannot compare, right? There are some important attributes of each of these fields, and in many fields they're overlapping. There are a lot of overlaps between uh, different fields. So we have to be respectful to other fields, and there are a lot of these fields, they are overlapping. So we have to keep that in mind. With NP, it has become more important nowadays. So when you talk about microbiology is a study of microorganisms. They are so tiny, as you have seen in case of the first slide, where there is an magnified image of microorganisms at the top of a pen, or in a kitchen sponge. Both are magnified image. They are too tiny, and so we cannot see them. Uh, and this could include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa. Some of the fungi are macroscopic. You do not need any kind of microscope uh, to visualize it, but still they are studied under the big umbrella of microbiology. Even though they are very tiny, microbes do matter because they affect every aspect of our lives. Every aspect of our lives. As I've told you about the evolution of this entire planet, uh, if you think about, if you understand microbes, you can solve many problems. In fact, about the evolution of life, how it brings health to the environment, what are the uh, problems we face in terms of the climate change, the food, and the agriculture. You also see in this image, uh, there is a snapshot or a photograph of Yellowstone National Park in the US. It's extreme conditions. It's a very high temperature where you have the water is almost boiling, but you can still see microbes thriving in such environment. Uh, just to show the robustness of the organisms, that they can survive in one of the harshest conditions where other life may not be able to thrive. You also see an algae, uh, which are photosynthetic by nature. uh, they are primary producers. They're considered primary producers as well. in the next image, you see an image of inoculation or vaccination to a little child, uh, which are basically microbes, attenuated microbes or part of microbes, which are used to boost our immune system. So in the future, whenever there is any kind of pathogen that enters our system, it can be wiped away, it can be neutralized. And on the right side, an extreme right, you have another image of a cyanobacteria, which I have already mentioned. They're oxygenic phototropes, and they have been generating enough oxygen to support other forms of life. So if you see, microbes are very important for uh, our earth, our environment, our health, our issues of climate change, issues of food. Many microbes have been used to produce food. They are important for agriculture. You can use microbes to make crops yield more. Uh, so we'll come to that. So microbes also play important role, a crucial role in nutrient cycling. Uh, like the carbon and nitrogen cycles are heavily dependent on microorganisms. The nitrogen that is taken by the plants uh, is taken in the form of nitrates or nitrites, and this is all converted to a form which plants can absorb or plants can utilize is via microbes. Because nitrogen, as you know, that nitrogen has this triple bond. They're very stable, and nitrogen cannot be taken directly by plants. It is solely with the help of this microbes that fixes nitrogen for plants. Biodegradation is another example. Probably the uh, in this image you can see uh, just you can see there's a snapshot a of a sea where there is oil spill. Okay, uh, the microbes have been used for degradations of such oil because oil is lighter, so it goes up in the top layer. But this can affect a lot of marine life, and microbes have been used to degrade such uh, oil in case of oil spills. This process is called bioremediation. Okay. Climate change is another issue. Climate change, as you know, that the methane gas, a majority of the methane gas is produced by microbes. Now, methane is also can increase the temperature. It's a greenhouse gas, and hence uh, you might wonder it can affect change, but I hear a lot of background noise. Can you mute your microphone, please? I hear background noise. Can
ମୋର
you?
ଯଦି କହିବୁ ଅଧଘଣ୍ଟା ପରେ କହିବୁ କଣ କହିବୁ ମନେ ରଖ।
Okay. So
କାଳ ମିଟିଂ
climate.
ହଉ କି କୂଳ ମିଟିଂ ହଉ କି ଆଉ କଣ।
Hey, stop your microphone. Mute your microphone, please.
Yeah, this is we have learned in during the COVID times how to behave in an online meeting. These are the etiquettes that is required for everyone, including you, me, and the world in general. So we should follow that. So I'll give you an opportunity to talk about your questions, but let me finish first. Then we'll talk about more about these options. Climate change is another area. I was mentioning that methane is one of the gas which is a greenhouse gas, and most of the methane that we see in our environment is produced by microbes. So but you can use the methane to produce fuel. Methane has a lot of fuel value, so that can be used for maybe cooking uh, and other cases. Uh, Microbes are also important for making food, like uh, you know, like like cheese, as you can see on the left hand side. The fungi is used. This is a blue cheese, as you can see from the streaks, from the dots, as you can see on the left. Uh, This is by a penicillium fungus that is used for making this cheese. But food spoilage is also common by certain microbes. As you can see, the apple that's, if you keep it for some time, it can get rot. Strawberries can spoil very quickly. Other use of microbes will be in the beverage industry, like the wine and the beer is produced by using microbes. The food that we eat is digested by certain microbes in our intestine, as you can see in the image. Uh, and also certain diseases are created by certain microbes. So whether you can see on the right, there is an image of two leaf. One is the normal leaf, another has multiple yellow spots. This leaf is infected with tobacco mosaic virus, or TMV in short. It is one of the fast viruses that have been characterized, and the structure have been studied fast. So what I want to emphasize here, microbes are extremely important. They are important for cleaning up our environment, for biodegradation, for bioremediation, climate change, food spoilage, making food, nitrogen fixation by the plants, digestion, and even control of disease. So antibiotics that we get, they are produced by soil bacterium. So antibiotics that we use, they're product of microbes. So a lot of different, you can imagine, in the food industry, in the in the cleaning up environment, in the beverage industry, in the medical industry, or in the medicine, you can think about usefulness of the microbes, and there are industries which are built on this applications of microorganisms, and that's why microbes have multiple applications, and it's, you can choose any of the path that you want to go. That's why studying microbiology is so fascinating. Now when you talk a little bit about history of microbiology, we do not have much time, but there are major you know microbiologists who shaped the field of microbiology, of whom uh, three scientists are shown here. One on the left is Antony van Leeuwenhoek. He's a textile merchant, but he invented a microscope that could magnify about 300 times an object. So that happened during the 17th century. So that was a big innovation at that particular point of time. Louis Pasteur is instrumental. He was instrumental in disproving the spontaneous generation. So earlier it was thought that the life would can generate spontaneously from non-living matter. Louis Pasteur disproved this by doing some elegant experiment. There are other scientists who also played very important role, but Louis Pasteur's experiment was very simple but very convincing, uh, and he was credited with, along with other scientists, uh, with a disproval of spontaneous generation. Robert Koch on the right, in black and white. Uh, Robert Koch is very well known for the germ theory of disease. He, in fact, developed a certain postulate which is called Koch's postulate, on which he attributed how can you identify a particular microorganism is responsible for causing a particular disease using animal models. So Robert Koch was instrumental in saying that microbes are the causative agent of the disease via germ theory, and he established the Koch's postulate. Uh, so these three scientists play a very important role in the field of microbiology. Um, Indian microbiologists also played a very important role, of whom I should mention at least two of them here. One is Dr. Ananda Mohan Chakraborty. Uh, he filed a patent for the first genetically modified Pseudomonas bacterium. This bacteria is genetically modified in such a way that it can degrade oil spills. I have shown in one of the slide earlier that there are bacteria which can actually degrade such oil spills. And on the right, you have Venkatraman Ramakrishnan. Uh, so he was initially trained in physics, delved into chemistry, and worked on bacterial ribosomes. He is credited with the discovery or the structure of bacterial ribosomes along with two other scientists. All of them got the Nobel Prize in chemistry. So there are other microbiologists as well. I just want to highlight some of them. Now, microbiology has different branches like bacteriology, where you work with bacteria, then virology, you work with viruses, mycology, you work with fungus, parasitology, you work with parasites, immunology, you study the immune system. Microbiology and immunology are often clubbed together in many of the departments. If you want to pursue a research in microbiology, those field of research is listed here. Experimental microbiology, here we ask fundamental questions of microbial form, structure, function, genetics, ecology. Remember, one of the major theme in biology today is the connection between the structure with function. Okay, so we know certain structure, but what it does in a cell. So that connection between structure and function is one of the fundamental questions that are asked, and an experimental microbiologist is responsible for exploring those connections. Also with genetics, which genes are responsible, how they that's microbial genetics. What is the regulation when these genes are upregulated, when they are downregulated, when they are repressed, when they are stimulated, and how microbes fit in an ecological perspective, how they survive in extreme conditions. So those questions are answered by experimental microbiologists. So they do experiments in the lab or in the outside the lab, and design experiments so that they can answer those fundamental questions about microbiology. Medical microbiology or medical, and those who work with medical microbiology, they become medical microbiologists. They are also very important. They study the mechanism, diagnosis, and treatment of microbial disease. So they are involved in the mechanism, diagnosis, and treatment of different types of microbial disease, different categories of microbes. So medical microbiology is a vast field as well. Uh, the next field of research is epidemiology. Here, the distribution and causes of disease in humans, animals, and plants are studied by epidemiologists. So often in government, there is a requirement of epidemiologist. So during COVID, we have heard the term R naught, the first case from which the infection begins and it goes elsewhere, and how it is spread. Those kind of, how what is the cause of the disease, how the disease is distributed, how the pathogen is getting distributed or to elsewhere, via humans, plants, animals. So those kind of studies are also very critical, and they're typically done by epidemiologists. Immunology is very important subject. uh, Basically, the immunology or immunologists, those who study immunology, they talk about the immune system and other host defenses against infectious disease. Food microbiology is very important, and there is a lot of recommend for food microbiologists by government of India. So if you complete a BSc in microbiology, you can pick a job in quality control, because that is mandated by the government. So there's a lot of requirement. uh, Many of our students actually work in such areas like Taj Sats, which basically, what they do, they check for any detection of any pathogens or any microbe in food that is served in aircrafts. So food preservation, quality control is a lot of and quality control, quality assurance, these are a very important area where you can get a job in industry. And fermented food, in case of beverage, like you know the wine or beer industry, is dependent on use of microorganisms. and how you preserve food as well. Industrial microbiology, here the drugs, medicines are produced, gene products are produced, and biofuels are produced in large amount. When you talk about industry, you are thinking in bulk, uh, so that it reaches a large section of the society. Environmental microbiology, where you talk about microbial diversity, microbial processes in natural and as well as in artificial environments. Bioremediation, I have already mentioned. You can use microbes to remediate or uh, clean human waste and industrial pollutants in various environments. Forensic microbiology is the analysis of microbial strains, particularly as related to any kind of crime. Astrobiology, where the focus is the origin of life in the universe and the possibility of life outside this planet. So that is another area. uh, there are a lot of uh, options here nowadays. Now, when you talk about career opportunities in microbiology, it can be broadly categorized in the area of food, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, environmental science, biotechnology, academic research. So whole lot of career options are there, and there are jobs also are available in each of the sectors. So you can pursue uh, whatever interests you. uh, I've already mentioned about the food sector, where a lot of job requirements are for microbiology graduates. In the pharmaceutical also, pharmaceutical sector or in the pharmaceutical industry, uh, our students are also working there. So in case of uh, pharmaceuticals, when you prepare, say, an ampoule, an injection, the water has to be completely sterile. And for that, how do you know that it's sterile? It is free from any kind of microbe, because the injection goes into a human body, right? So it has to be completely safe, but you have to ensure that it is safe. In order to do so, you require the help of microbiologists who can test that the water that is used is actually free from any kind of microbes. Environmental science, biotechnology, academic research. Academic research is another area. You can work in a university, college, and you can do your own research along with teaching. You can also move into biotechnology as well. Biotechnology is a big umbrella term, and we have a lot of options there as well. So the job that you can get are listed here. Some of them are conventional. In industry, you would typically join as a quality control analyst, research scientist, technician, lab manager, safety officer, food safety officer, scientific officer, grant officer. These are typically what you would go into, get into many kind of industry. Uh, that's the role for of microbiologists, or the career options for microbiologists in the industry. In case of academia, we broadly divide into industry, career in industry, career in academia, and non-conventional career, that is in the third column. The second column, as you can see, you can obviously go into teaching. You have to complete your BSc, MSc, followed by PhD. Typically in a university, you need a PhD. In my university, in my department, all of the faculties are PhD. Some of them have postdoctoral experience, postdoctoral research experience, and some are been involved in teaching and also doing some kind of research. So yeah, so other than that, you can also join an institution as a research fellow, GRF or SRF. uh, and the fun part of doing science is that you can answer a particular question that excites you. You can be an independent researcher. Um, and not only after MSc, you can do your further research, like you can do your PhD, you can do your postdoc either in India or abroad, wherever you want to pursue. There are plenty of universities around the world where you can pursue your PhD or postdoc. I did my PhD at University of Maryland at College Park in the US, and I did my postdoc at Arizona State University, again in the US. So I stayed almost 9 years doing basic and applied microbiology during my PhD and postdoc. So I spend a lot of time in the field of microbiology. uh, and nowadays we have a lot of different, apart from the traditional career, we have different other careers, like you can go to public policy, you can go to science communication, but this is very competitive nowadays. There are excellent writers, so science communication or science or content writer can be another job, like the hybrid jobs nowadays. uh, there is a interface between microbiology and law, where you can be a patent officer. You need to have certain skills of writing a patent, filing a patent, those kind of things. And eventually, there is also another option. You can be an entrepreneur. You can start your own business. So earlier people used to think about getting a job. So instead of being a job taker, you can be a job provider when you start your own business. So entrepreneurship is something you can do with microbiology. So these are various kind of career options you can choose while you pursue a career in microbiology. So clinical microbiology, typically when you do clinical or medical microbiology, these are often used interchangeably, and these are typically focuses on diagnosing and treating infectious disease. So typical clinical microbiologists work in hospitals, lab, public health organizations. uh, there are different, they need to have certain kind of training, certain kind of skill sets to work in such kind of environment. Like as you can see on the left, one researcher is actually working in a BSL, I think 3 or 4 lab, working with uh, uh, probably human influenza. So it's a extremely it's highly pathogenic organism, so you need to have proper PPE or personal protective equipment, which means that you need to have a lab coat, gloves, face gear, you need closed toed shoes and other precautions. So that's required, but that kind of you will be working, if you are working in a high path uh, environment, you need to be very in a very kind of special labs, and you need to have specific training. uh, you can also do studies on, you get samples and you want to look at antimicrobial resistance. So you can work in many diagnostic labs, uh, hospitals and public health organization as well, as you see in the right. So a lot of diagnostic procedures are there, and they have automated uh, machines which can be helpful for identifying important pathogens, their properties, attributes. Industrial microbiology is basically, when you talk about industrial microbiology, the word industry is there. That means you are making a product using microorganisms in large amount. So typically you can think about fermentation, like you are preparing some kind of beverage, you are preparing antibiotic or biofuels in large amount. So industry, it has direct application to the industry. Uh, so these are produced in large amount. So you need also special kind of training when you go to industrial microbiology sector. You will be working in industry basically. Uh, and we are in our university, we have connections with tie up with various industry partners, like Biocon is one of the leading player in India. So we have tie up, and they give us update about various course curriculum, and we update our course curriculum based on their feedback. Environmental microbiology is another emerging area, and a lot of studies are going on right now all around the world to study the roles of microbes in natural environment. And this, when you talk about natural environment, this could mean soil, water, air. For example, you can see a microbiologist picking up a water sample from extreme environment, like whether it's a geyser or in uh, Arctic, maybe. So they are trying to find out new microbes which can exist in such environment and study them in the lab. But studying them in the lab is extremely challenging, because they may not thrive so well because the environment is changed now. So there is a lot of adaptation that needs to go in through this process. How can you study the microbes in the natural environment? It's better if you can study them, because the one you grow them in the lab and the ones you study them in the nature, they may have different set of gene expressions. They may not grow at all in many cases, particularly microbes which are growing, which can be picked up from the bottom of a sea. They may not grow well in the lab environment, and that's one of the challenges. A lot of researchers working with such microbes faces. So there are challenges, but when you do something new, you have to optimize your experiment. You have to make this experiment work by changing the conditions so that you can make it more natural like. So that is the science behind many of the experiments. Food microbiology I have already mentioned. One of the aspect of food microbiologists is that they ensure the safety and the quality of food products. So quality control, quality assurance, these are major area where a microbiology graduates can get a job in. So the field addresses food spoilage, foodborne illnesses, fermentation process. On the right, you can see the food safety quality that is being assured by the microbiologist. They are in a very hygienic conditions according, so they have specific rules for each of these processes. And in the left, you can see the preparation of some uh, uh, cheese or curd that is produced in large amount in industry. Okay. Agricultural microbiology is another area, and this area focuses on plant associated microbes and their impacts on agriculture. The agricultural microbiologist studies soil health, plant disease, and biopesticides. On the right, you can see many of these agricultural alternative renewable energy resources like biofuels are are developed using microbes. Uh, those are also area, and another area of agricultural microbiology. How can you increase the yield of crops by using certain microbial consortium? So that is another area. How can you increase soil health? How can you minimize plant disease? You have already known about bt cotton and other uh, you know uh, gm crops and others. Pharmaceutical microbiology is another area where you ensure the safe and effective production of pharmaceuticals. So when you are producing any kind of injection or any ampoules, any kind of drugs, you want to make sure they are safe. So the pharmaceutical microbiologists typically get involved in drug development, testing, quality control. So there are a lot of opportunities in teaching and conducting research at universities and research institutions. Uh, During your BSc or MSc, you will be doing internship. You will be doing a dissertation. So you will definitely have chance of doing some kind of uh, either work in an academic or in research uh, institution during your bachelor's, your master's, and of course in your PhD you will be doing in research. That's why you are doing a PhD. But it has to be novel. So when you are doing a PhD, it's not typical courses. There is a difference. So you are answering a bigger questions, a novel question that has not been answered. So novelty is very important whenever you're doing a PhD, and that can take say 3 to 4 years. Uh, so so PhD requires a different kind of mindset. If you're sure this is what you want to do, then you should go for PhD. But you should be excited about whatever topic you want to choose in PhD. And uh, and that's very important, because every day you go in the lab and you get some new kind of data, new kind of experiments you will be doing, so which is not the same as like any other profession. So whenever you're doing a PhD, you're finding something new for the first time. So it's very exciting. And that is something that is the reward as a scientist you can get. and it starts doing your you starts to get that feel when you do such kind of training during the PhD programs. Of course, you can also work in public health, which focuses mainly on control and preventing disease outbreaks. Typically, the microbiologists in public health, uh, in the field work, they work for uh, government agencies like CDC, World Health Organizations, and various others. Now, being a microbiologist means that you need to have certain skills. Those skills are listed here. Some of the major skills are listed here. Uh, because you will be developing certain experimental setup to do your lab, to do and to answer a particular question. You need to have critical thinking. You need to have a good understanding of the analytical skills. You need to have a good analytical skills. You need to have good laboratory techniques. You need to be good with data. So whenever you get data, what the data means to you, or what the data means to the public, that you have to explain. And all through this, you need to have uh, a strong communication skill so that you can present the data or your finding to a larger audience, to the public, and to a knowledgeable audience, either via a seminar or via a publication. So you need to be good in writing and speaking. So critical thinking, analytical skills, laboratory techniques, data analysis, strong communication skills, these are very important techniques or skills that set uh, skill sets that you need to have when you pursue your career in microbiology. And on the right, you see some microbiologists working in an animal facility. Animal handling is a very important technique, particularly when you are going in a clinical field, clinical microbiology, medical microbiology, because you will be testing the safety of a drug, typically with an animal model. In many kind of vaccines, you need to test them in animal models. So with that, I like to briefly talk about the because I belong to a microbiology department. It's called Department of Biological Sciences, which is another school of life science and biotechnology. We also offer BSc microbiology program and MSc microbiology program and PhD. So we have a 4-year BSc program, 2-year and 1-year MSc program, 2-year for those who have completed 3 years, and 1 year for those who have completed 4 years. So as for now, no batch have completed the 4-year NAP because we have only started last year. So our curriculum is NAP compliant and it focuses on experiential learning. So we cover anything from basic to applied microbiology, fundamental to advanced biochemistry. We have also a biochemistry as well. Uh, and also the use of computational biology, AI in biology. In our course, students are required to go for industry internship and research internship, and we always modify our syllabus depending on the industry requirement, because as you can see, these industry is dependent on uh, certain requirement of the society, some problem. So we tag with industry so that such those skills which are appropriate for industry, we include that in our curriculum. We have an intensive training for industry and research preparedness. We also do the career counseling and industry connect. We also guide our student for various kind of competitive exams like NET, GATE, JAM, and our many of our students have cracked many of these exams. We get the feedback from industry experts. We have a career development cells which brings various companies, so all our students get placed. We also have government funded research projects under DST, SERB, and Indian Council of Medical Research. Uh, every student is also required to do a mandatory dissertation where they get a training or a feel for research. Students publish regularly. Typically, we try to convert dissertation to publication. Some of the research area we work on include antimicrobial resistance, natural product research, nanotechnology, cancer biology, plant genetics, and many more. So these are some of the research opportunities in our university. In the Department of Biological Science, we have a very good state-of-the-art lab. You can see spectroscopy and microscopy lab, culture and preservation lab, AMR lab, for which we get funded, which gets funded by Government of India, funding from Government of India. We also have genetic engineering lab, which is a requirement for our programs in BSc and MSc microbiology. These are some of our faculty members. Uh, so most of us, all of us have, as you can see, have doctorate, they have PhD either from India or abroad, from top research institutes or top universities, with extensive research experience and teaching experience. So I'm not going in details, but just to give you a snapshot of this, we also have the necessary facilities to carry on not only the practicals that is really relevant to our program, but also the research which is necessary to carry on government funded projects. So some of these are shown here, like as you can see, we have phase contrast microscope, minus 80 freezer, spectroscope, cold centrifuge, incubator shaker, like that, PCR machine. These are there. Uh, Also, we have strong ties with industry leaders for internship. We have collaborative projects, job placement. Jagriti Dotto is one of our student of MSc Microbiology, currently pursuing MSc Microbiology second semester. She got internship at CCMB out of 44 candidates from all over India. She is one of the 44 candidates selected in this prestigious CSIR, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, uh, summer training program. We have a strong industry connect, so we visit various kind of industry uh, to our students, giving them exposure that is relevant when, so that they can get smoothly uh, into the job, when they go into the placement, so they are ready, so they are industry ready. So these are some of the images we take our students to various industries so that they get exposed, and some of them are listed on the right hand side as well. Our students also do various kind of they get various kind of training for various kind of competitive exams, like IIT JAM, then GATE, uh, you know, all those competitive exams. The students also go for higher studies abroad. Uh, many of those cases, I have one small video I'll show you in a minute. But we also want to convert our dissertation to publication. So you can see many of our students here, they are undergraduate or postgraduate students, and all of their dissertation has been converted to a publication. So we believe in that, that whatever you do, that should be converted to a publication. We also have champions activity. We have a tie-up with Microbiology Society UK, so we regularly organize various kind of workshops, seminars, and training for our students. Some of them are local, some are international. They're webinars. We have experts abroad who visits, or who talk over web to our students. We also do various kind of fun activities like agar art, which is very popular among students, and also we do a lot of outreach. Uh, for, and these are highly collaborative and participative events for all the students and other learners. So various kind of research projects we have in our university, like DST SERP Startup Research Grant, ICMR, which is Government of India, from the Government of India, DST SERP core research grant we have received, and also the seed grant. Many of the faculties, they have their own small grant which is supported by the university, which is called the seed grant. uh, and these are some of the list of our students who are published in various journals, international journals. These are prestigious international journals with impact factors, and also many of them contribute to book chapters. Again, these book chapters are also have DOIs and respectable publishers. We have strong industry collaboration like Shurakha Diagnostics, IMRO India, and many others. And there are some testimonies. For that, I think there is another video. I just want to show you this. This is Sneha Bishya, who is a student of BSc Microbiology, and she will talk about. And she completed her BSc from in 2018. She was a student in 2015, and here she is talking about how the faculty have guided her during her academic journey.
Hi, I'm Sneha Bishwas, an alumni of Adamas University and a master student at the Radboud University in the Netherlands. This video is dedicated towards the Faculty of Science, my department from Adamas University during my bachelor's. I want to share that I'm very grateful with your teachings and your lessons and your guidance. It's been a blessing to be your student. I am learning a lot, but all the lessons that you have given me throughout my bachelor's at Adamas will always be there and will always be followed wherever I go. Thank you for all your contribution. If it wasn't for you, maybe I wouldn't be here where I am right now. Thank you very much.
So Sneha joined Radboud University, which is one of the top most university in Netherlands. In the very first year of our program, we started in 2015. In 2018, she graduated and got into Radboud University. So if you are interested in our program, we have the step-by-step guide and how you can apply. You can go to apply.adamasuniversity.ac. You then appear at the university admission test, then have the council for admission and take the final admission. So these are, you can join us today and you can take the next step towards a rewarding career in microbiology. We are here to support you all the time throughout the program. Thank you, and I would like to have some questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for this interactive session. Dear participants, if you have any question, please type them into the chat box.
I think there is a question. Amir mentioned he's a student of BS applied and further MS in which microbiology field. Okay, it depends on your interest. So you can choose bacteriology because you can get there are many. It depends on your interest basically, and if you have initial training in your bachelor's, because bachelor's is a foundation, right? And if you want to continue that, so you can join bacteriology virology lab. Maybe you will get good training, but I would say do something uh, which give your expertise a new set of skills, which gives you a new set of skills during your uh, masters, because masters is okay. Once you do a research, then it will be better. Actually do a PhD, you will actually do everything in hands-on, so you will do a novel project. So learning should not stop at MSc, you should continue do it at PhD level. Okay.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Uh,
Yeah, I can't hear your voice properly.
Shalini, you are not
Okay,
audible. Can you write it
your
in the
voice
chat
is,
box?
yeah, it will be great if you can write in the chat box. Okay, there is another question. So what you know a student should have an understanding of basic biology at 10 plus 2. uh, I think that should be good enough. A little bit of understanding of chemistry to help. So chemistry and biology mainly, and of course uh, a little bit of maths can also help, but that will be taught during the course, so you don't need not to worry. But basically a little bit of biology is definitely needed, uh, and some chemistry. Okay. So with BSc zoology you can pursue a career in microbiology after you complete your BSc. As I mentioned, microbiology is much more uh, varied path. So uh, you're not restricted to one particular domain, and medical microbiology is also extremely broad area. So just like the previous question, you might be actually working in one lab which deals with infectious disease agents with protozoa. Some lab might be focusing on bacteria, so you have to pick one of them. But with BSc you can choose an MSc as well. Okay, so the next question is so Biranji is studying MSc in microbiology second semester. Very good. uh, as I have already shown that industry internship can really help you. uh, we in our course, for our 2-year course, we have a industry internship between uh, second and third semester, so during the summer break. So typically student would either go to a research lab to get some hands on, or they can go to industry. It depends on their preference whether they want to join the academia or they want to join the industry. So definitely you can choose any of them. uh, yes, and you have to manage that with net preparation. So in our course we also support you for preparing for net, get, and various other competitive exam, and we also support our students to go for internship, so that will uh, be very helpful. If you have any other question you can answer. Okay, clinical research management course, internship in hospital. I think for you, you can maybe public health would be one area that you can think of, because you have uh, some background of clinical research management and also a little bit of internship. Maybe you can apply for public health. That can be a very nice fit for you, like epidemiology maybe, or you can go to hospital. Now also many of the students, they after doing the MSc, they can actually go to the business side of it. They can start their own maybe startup, or they may go to the management of a company. So if you are interested doing that, you might actually plan to do a MBA after your MSc. uh, in many companies they might prefer somebody having a management with a tech degree. That will be a great combination if you can manage it, particularly those who are going for corporate. Okay, veterinary microbiology. Okay, scope of veterinary microbiology in foreign countries. Yes, there are a lot of good veterinary microbiology programs in foreign country. I did my PhD uh, at University of Maryland, but I worked at one of the veterinary college. Uh, so yeah, there are a lot of options. State, government funded or private funded, you can choose, but make sure they have the relevant research experience. You should check the background of the faculty, what kind of grants they have to support your research. All those things you should check, and whatever approvals that is needed to check the authenticity of that institution, you should do that. I think that will be a good, very good choice. A lot of good countries are there. In the US, you can see there are a lot of requirement of veterinary microbiologists. Yeah. Any other question? You can also go to Europe as well. In Europe, there are also requirement for veterinary microbiologists. But whenever you are planning to go to a foreign country, make sure you have all the requirements met. That means the necessary application, necessary examination, necessary statement of purpose, recommendation, everything. So you have
Yes,
to
sir.
plan
Yes.
at least 1 year back
Help.
before you apply. Yeah.
Sir, in microbiology as a career, how much salary per annum?
Um, so it depends on the job. It depends on the job, whether you are a starter or you are in advanced in your career. Okay, it could be
Sir,
anything between 3 to 10 lakhs. So it
minimum.
depends. Yeah, minimum would be about 3 to 4 lakhs, and depending on the experience, it will go up to maybe in India you can go up to 10 lakh, 12 lakhs, like that. And it will increase definitely with more experience. It will go up and up. And abroad,
Sir,
it's
abroad,
it depends again. This is no It depends on your skill. If you're a director of a company, definitely you will pay it in dollars. You will pay it in pounds, so there is no comparison, right? So it's not just like a magic figure. You have to be trained, and you need to have training. Okay.
okay, sir, thank you.
Sure. So PhD in zoology planning. Okay. And now I would, because you have already have a PhD in zoology. So what you are working on zoology, may I ask? Is it related with microbiology in any like the
No, sir,
host
zoology is
pathogenic
a,
interaction?
zoology is a subject.
No, I'm Shalini. I'm talking to Shalini. Shalini, Arun, can you say? Yeah, I understand that. But what is your project topic? So, okay, in entomology. Okay. So is it anything to do with interaction with microbes? Is there any microbial interaction with animals? Then it will be relevant. But if it is like a core zoology, then it may be difficult, because you need to have some microbiological techniques. You have to need to have laboratory techniques that you learn during your master's or bachelor's or your PhD program. So it will be a lot of struggle if you suddenly move on to a microbiology lab, particularly for postdoc. So yeah, see if there is any kind of opportunity where you will do the partly the work with say plant and animal interaction, that may be I mean plant and microbe interaction, such kind of, or animal with microbe interaction, such kind of aspect, you can work. Maybe you can work with the control part, um, but you need to have a basic understanding of laboratory techniques, basic background. If it is a if the lab focuses on microbiology aspect, you need to have the training. And for postdoc, look for the job description. So what kind of person is required? So postdoc uh, may not be exactly under the microbiology umbrella, right? So see how it fits you. Maybe your PhD mentor can suggest, where you should do your postdoc, or your network. That will be a good choice, I think. Maybe you can go to these meetings, these annual conferences where you meet a lot of people who are working in a similar area. There you can build a network, a rapport with other scientists, and in many cases they might offer you a job while you are chatting with them, or you are talking them over a lunch. So be prepared. Make sure you have the right set of connections. Networking is very important in science. Sure, you're welcome. Okay. um, So if you are doing any kind of internships in government for private institution, you need to actually get a NOC, no objection certificate from your own institution. The institution does not have any objection if you pursue an internship in gov or private institution. Usually there is a template from these institutions. You can ask them the template or the format for writing the NOC, and you need to get the approval from your department as well. So this time to this time uh, you will be busy in the internship. So, and usually the departments are very supportive of that because it helps the students uh, in the training. Okay. Now there are many countries, so you can do the, one thing you can do, you can maybe look in the QS ranking and find out the top 10 colleges or universities. So US would be a very good choice, definitely, because many of the Ivy League colleges are there. uh, you know University of Iowa, uh, University of Wisconsin Madison is one of the very good institute you can pursue. uh, Ohio State University, a lot of state universities are very good as well, and they are not very difficult to go get into. um, okay. You can also think about Europe. There are very good, excellent institution, particularly in Germany. You can go as well. Think about going to Germany, or like make sure they are good institutions. They have some kind of institutions of repute. Uh, okay, which college is best for pharma MBA? For MBA, I know there is, again, look for the top ranked colleges, like top 10 colleges. It's very important that you select colleges that have some good ranking in terms of their placement. Wharton School in University of Pennsylvania. It is one of the premier institution where you can pursue your MBA. Stanford is another, but I don't know whether they have pharma, but they are very expensive as well. They're very good institute where you can do your management. So do your basic search. uh, I have few friends who actually did a pharma MBA. Yeah, it's a very good combination. Even if you go to marketing in a country like India, uh, you will be, you'll be sought after. You might get a lot of jobs. Pharma MBA is a very good pharmacy with a good MBA. If you do it in MBA in India, then you should go think about going IIMs or top MBA schools in the country through CAT. So those kind of institutes are really good, and you can get campus placement. That's most important. Many of the other colleges, they may not have the campus placement. So for MBA, it's very important that you select a institute which does offer you placement through their campuses, good placements. Yeah. I'm glad you are asking so many questions. If you have a few more, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for the
sure,
session. Yeah, I'll be
sure, sure.
sharing a feedback link
Yeah.
for the participants. Please make sure to fill the form.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was nice to talk about career options in microbiology. I hope the audience have learned a lot from this session, and I hope they make good choice when they decide a career, a career in microbiology in particular. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Please make sure to fill out the form so that we can improve our future webinars and provide the best experience for you all. I have shared the link in the chat box. Make sure to submit the form before you leave the meeting. Thank you so much for joining us in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
This conference